Willis, it's great to see you. It's been such a long time, and we are back because Kenyans have demanded us to do so. I hope you have been well.
I've been well, Betty, and you see, I saw you, the reporters as well as the news anchors at KTN Home and KTN Kenya. You're doing a marvelous, in fact, work, and you deserve a pat on the back for that. How is the capital city at the moment, Betty?
Well, we are doing quite well, Willis. Thank you for asking. And I just want us to get straight into our lesson tonight, and I want us to start with the word on the street, Willis. Let's hear what Kenyans had to say this time round on the streets.
Honor, honor, honor.
Honor, honor, honor.
Onomatopoeia. 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 Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Ai. Onomatopoeia.
Willis, wow, that was hilarious. How do you say that word? I won't even try because I don't want to sound like the guys on the street there. So I'll leave it to you.
Betty, that is a tricky word, and as I always say, certain English words, can be very tricky, not only for those people who are met on the street, but it may be tricky for even those who are in very high offices or those who have gotten, or those who have got, high levels of education. But the word is onomatopoeia, onomatopoeia. I know onomatopoeia is very common locally, but we say onomatopoeia.
All right. Onomatopoeia. It's as simple as that, but they were trying to complicate the word, in some other funny ways. But onomatopoeia.
It happens when it comes to pronunciation of English words.
That's true. And Willis, remember that here we don't laugh at people. We're here to learn, but that was hilarious. But moving on swiftly. And this one, Willis, I'll spell it out for you. Itinerary. Is it itinerary? What is the correct pronunciation of this one?
Betty, yes, you say itinerary. Itinerary. That is a plan for a journey. Or you see, like when we have the campaigns, you talk of the itinerary, not itinerary. And Betty, now that you have brought this word, there are those words like sovereignty, tyranny, gubernatorial, incumbent, one, lose, loser, fraud, flew, past tense of fly, and then primaries. These words have commonly, been mispronounced during the electioneering period. So sharing with the viewers of KTN would be very important. I've said we say sovereignty, not sovereignty. Tyranny, not tyranny. Gubernatorial, not gubernatorial. Incumbent, not incumbent, not incumbent. One, he won the seat, not he won the seat. Fraud, not fraud. And primaries, not primaries. Betty, that is important for our dear viewers.
Now I want to ask my guests here in studio if they knew that. John, did you know that you say gubernatorial and you also say fraud?
I think those two.
You're okay,
I was okay with them.
Oh, you're okay
Yes,
with that?
I was okay with those
So
two.
we listen now
Yes.
because we have, members of parliament elect here in studio. There's that word, once the swearing in is going to be done, there's that word, you remember it, Willis? The one that they had to pronounce, and nobody, literally no one was able to pronounce it in the last swearing in ceremony.
I remembered the word.
Yeah, and...
I remembered the word, Betty. And before I pronounce that word,
yes,
you should also pass my congratulations to Babu Owino and John Kiarie. Those are young men who have come from far, but they are tough in their own way, always in their lives.
Absolutely.
So we say conscientiously.
All right.
Conscientiously.
Babu, you better
not
take note.
Conscientiously. Conscientiously. We'll hear so many versions, Betty, when it comes to the swearing in.
Yes.
But we say conscientiously.
Conscientiously. Babu, I must scare
You'll
you.
remind me during swearing in.
He's saying we'll remind him when that time comes. But it's what again? Conscientiously.
Yeah. Conscientiously.
All right. Okay.
Conscientiously.
All right. Okay. Babu has already gotten it. John, I hope you've also gotten it. We don't want you to embarrass us,
Thank
Not
you,
that you're
Mwalimu.
representing young people out there. Conscientiously.
You're welcome, my dear brothers.
All right, fine. Let's continue to our lesson. And I'll spell this next word, A-C-I-D-U-L-O-U-S, acidulous. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Oh, Betty, that is a formal word for, to mean having sour taste.
Yeah.
So you have two acceptable pronunciations for that word. You can say acidulous, or you can also say acidulous. Acidulous, acidulous. The two pronunciations are acceptable as alternatives.
All right. Does that also work for education and education?
You say education, but remember you can also say edu. Edu and edu.
And edu.
Education, education.
All right. Moving on to this other word, and it's also a word that we had quite a number of times during the whole political season, which is still ongoing anyway. Cocoon, maybe when you're talking about, people coming together or people going back to sort of like, you could say people going back to their tribal cocoons. Is it cocoon, cocoons? How do you pronounce that one?
Oh, that is C-O-C-O-O-N. You say cocoon. Cocoon. You have the stress on the second syllable. That is the primary stress. But you say co with a weak sound, what we call a schwa in terms of phonetics. You say cocoon, not cocoon that many people say locally.
Okay. Cocoon. Got it. Now, Willis, this is another word that I'm sure we'll be hearing quite a number of times, especially if when we wait for the Supreme Court determination or determine. You hear people saying determine, determination, determine. Which is which, Willis?
Betty, I think the most commonly heard mispronunciations locally are determine or determine and determined, which we should avoid.
Yes.
You say min, determine, determine and determined, not mind. Just like combination, not combination, invitation, not invitation.
All right, got it, Willis. Moving on to this other word, masquerade. Masquerade, how do you pronounce it and where do you put the stress of the pronunciation?
The stress is on the last syllable, that is raid, masquerade. The common mispronunciation is masqua. Qua, no.
Wow.
You say masquerade. Just like we don't say mosquito, you say mosquito.
Okay.
Biscuits, not biscuits. So that U is not pronounced. You say masquerade.
Masquerade, Willis. I like that you reminded us of biscuit and mosquito, and not mosquito, as most people pronounce it. All right, moving on to this other word. Do we say customary or customary marriage? Which is which, Willis?
What happens in that word, Betty, is that letter O takes the mid-central vowel sound customary, but a weak one. Customary, just like custom, customer, accustom, accustomed, and we also talk of customer.
Like the person who we know as a customer, you're saying it's customer.
Customer, customer, with the weak sound customer. Customary, customs department. You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So it's not customs. Like at the airport, it's not like customs, it's customs.
Customs, customs department, customs department. With that, sure, the weak sound customs, customary,
yeah,
customer, accustomed. Betty, you also say accomplish, not accomplish.
Okay. Even
and
my
you
guests
also
are
talk
shocked
of
here.
accomplices, not accomplices. Betty, as I always say, certain pronunciations can be surprising because what we grow up with, and as I also told you one time, our education system and other education systems in the world focus on grammar and vocabulary, so you may find it very difficult sometimes to understand the phonology, that is the sound system of English language, in terms of the standard sound systems. But remember, approximations are also acceptable.
Approximations. Okay. So Willis, that's serious. A surprise even for me. So you say a customer, not a customer as we know it.
Accustomed, to accustom or accustomed to something. Then we talk of custom, customs department.
Yeah.
Customary laws.
Okay.
Are we together, Betty?
Yes.
That would be very tricky. Remember when I talked about tortoise and we knew it as tortoise?
Yeah. It's tortoise. Okay, Willis.
Yes.
Well, I just remembered how intense this lesson normally is, Willis. I think with the 2 weeks, you kind of like forget a bit, how it can get serious. All right.
I think that is why there was that demand on the internet.
Yeah.
But whichever way, we are available and ready for the questions.
For work. All right, Willis. Okay, we're about to wind up on my list, but let me just have one more word. And this one, I'll spell it out. I'm not even sure about it. C-A-M-A-R-A-D-E-R-I-E. Camaraderie.
Oh, camaraderie. Raderie, not raderie. Camaraderie.
Okay.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. All right.
Yes.
Well, okay, Willis.
Yes,
let's get to our feedback question. It comes from Tom Karanja of Nakuru. He's asking about prejudice. How do you go about this one?
Betty, that is another tricky word.
Yeah.
Simple but tricky. It's commonly used locally, like in courts of law, but we talk of prejudice, like racial prejudice, not prejudice. Just like we say justice, not justice. Novice, not novice. Hospice, not hospice.
Yeah.
Apprentice, not apprentice. So many examples that I can give you, Betty. So, prejudice.
Prejudice. All right, Willis, let's get straight to our surprise words before we wrap up.
Okay, Betty, if you allow me just a few of the other feedback questions. Very fast, Betty.
Okay.
Rachel Achieng of Kisumu, you say August, not August. The 8th month is August, not August. Sheldon Ombaso of Elsa Academy Ogembo. Sheldon, you say surgeon. Surgeon, not a surgeon. Gion, no. You say John. Douglas Matayo, you say jaws. The jaws of a crocodile. John Sifuna Wanyonyi, you say phenomenon. Phenomenon, and the plural is phenomena. Phenomena. But remember, in American English, we have also phenomenons as the plural of phenomenon. Vincent Ogega, dinosaur, and diligently. Then we have the last feedback, that is from Mwalimu Charles Marienga. You say malevolent and benevolent. Those words have what we call the phonetic spelling. You pronounce them the way the letters are arranged from the letter sequence. And now we go to the surprise word for tonight, Betty.
Yeah.
When we have a group of soldiers, especially in an army,
yes,
in most cases, you'll find people talking of legion, a legion, which is inaccurate. You say legion, a legion, not legion. Yes, legion, not legion, not legion. Okay. Just like we also say, Betty, region, the region, not region or region.
Yes.
Region, legion. So we'll have the final part of our show, Betty, that is for Mind Your Language.
Yes.
We have he swam to safety. Past tense of swim is swam. That is S-W-A-M, swam. But many people talk of a swarm of bees, which is inaccurate. That S-W-A-R-M, you now say swarm.
Yes.
A swarm of bees, not swarm of bees. Swarm is the past tense or the past participle of swim.
Hey,
Getting the pronunciations right is as good as having good grammar and the right choice of words. Betty, let English be English.
Let English be English for sure. My guests are so tickled by the pronunciations, Willis, tonight. And even I'm shocked at, how bad I still am and how much I still need to have these lessons here on the show.
Betty.
Yeah,
Nobody is perfect.
but I'm doing really badly myself, just to put it out there. But but I've learned quite a number of words tonight. I think the biggest shocker is customs. Sometimes we're so confident in pronouncing words the wrong way, so we say customs, and we say it with so much confidence, and we're actually so wrong.
Betty, you must have heard people talking of mayor. A mayor from one, a mayor, very confidently, mayor.
Yeah.
When they mean mere, M-E-R-E is mere, not mayor. And how many people do you hear talking of he won the battle, he won the seat, instead of he won the seat, he won the contest.
Right.
So nobody is perfect the way I've put it, because languages are very wide.
They are so wide, Willis. But thank you so much for coming here to bridge that gap. And remember that Willis Ocheng is always here.
You're welcome, Betty.
Willis Ocheng is always here on Friday evenings to teach us the correct pronunciations of different words. Remember, Willis, when it's closer to the swearing-in ceremony, we'll have you just repeat that word conscientiously for our members of parliament.
Conscientiously.
Conscientiously, so that they can be able to pronounce it properly once the swearing-in. Okay, it's done. Thank you very much, Willis, the word master there, joining us live and direct from Kisumu City. Of course, it had to be Kisumu City. And he's just teaching us the correct pronunciation of different words. Remember that if you want to interact with him throughout the week, at Willis Ocheng1 is his Twitter handle. Talk to him. Let him know what you want him to help you with in regards to pronunciation. All right, so maybe just a comment from my guests, not on Willis, but Nasser's